Hi everyone, Dr. John Bennett, and I just wanted to take a few minutes to share with you some considerations when doing the heart sound recorder to make it successful in your office. The first one is, if it's a first-time scan for your client or patient, perhaps a phone call or a text message would be a great idea, just to prepare them so that they're ready for the scan and you can do the best scan you possibly can. Now, this wouldn't necessarily be true if it's a repeat scan that you're doing, because those clients or patients are already into your flow and they know how things work. But that first time, that reminder call or text can make all the difference in the world in a successful scan. The second one is to ask the patient or client to arrive to your office maybe 10-15 minutes early. Let's say they're coming across town. It's been a stressful drive for them, or perhaps they've just had a very stressful day. We want them to be able to come in the office and get acclimated to the surroundings and the environments so that it doesn't skew any of the results on the test. I can remember early in my chiropractic career reading about Dr. B.J. Palmer at the research clinic and how they used to bring clients in and scan them at different times throughout the day to find out when was the best time to adjust that particular client. And I always held true to that in my office through the last 27 years of practice. Whether I was doing thermal scans or RJL readings or now the heart sound recorder, I try to stay consistent as to the times of day when I'm seeing patients or running scans to, again, eliminate some of the external variables. The next one is food considerations. Now, what works best and what I like to do in my office is to scan them prior to eating or prior to drinking anything. Why is that so important? Well, there's tons of research out there. If you look at PubMed or some of the research that's done on food and how it affects your heart rate, we know that when you begin to chew food, we kick the sympathetic nerve system in. And as a result of that, your pulse rate can go up slightly. And then we also realize that when you begin to digest food, that the parasympathetics kick into gear and it can actually slow the heart rate down. So it would be ideal if you could scan those clients or patients prior to them eating or drinking. And then we have to look at food considerations. You know, perhaps they're drinking something with caffeine in it, or maybe they had a glass of wine or a cocktail at lunch and alcohol can affect it. Or perhaps it's just the synthetic type foods that they're eating, or maybe they have a sensitivity of food that could cause a variance in their heart rate. So best to scan prior to eating. If you can't do that, then I would wait at least 90 to 120 minutes after they're done eating to do a scan on them. So lunchtime may not be the best time to do the scan right after that lunch period. So it might be best to do it in the morning or a little bit later in the afternoon. Hydration is a key. We know that the heart's a muscle, very important muscle because it's got its own electrical system. But like any muscle, if we're not hydrated well, then the muscle system's not going to work well. So hydration becomes a big key when we're talking about the heart sound recorder. And then lastly, what type of clothes to wear. Now, with guys, this is usually not a problem. They'll have on maybe a dress shirt or a t-shirt or a polo shirt. Where we run into things that are a little trickier with females, and depending on the type of clothing that they wear into the office, or even the bras. You know, some of the bras have underwires in them. Sometimes maybe it's a sports bra. Doesn't mean we can't do a scan. It just means we have to be a little bit more, we have to use a little bit more precaution and be a little bit more precise when we place the microphone so that we can get the best recording that we can with it. The other option to think about with females, I always try to tell them to wear a loose fitting top or a blouse that day, but if you need to, you could always keep gowns in the office and gown patients if you want to, but I'll be honest, 99% of the time we never have to do that and we'll just do it with the street clothes. So these are just a few considerations to think about as you're scanning your clients and to make sure that we're removing external variables so that we can get a consistency with our scans and a reproducibility in the way that we scan to give us the best results possible. So until next time, keep scanning people and keep changing lives. I'll talk to you soon.